At 8 a.m. on a rainy Tuesday morning, a man in a gray suit sat alone at a small table inside a quiet gas station convenience store. His hands were shaking, his phone kept buzzing, and his eyes looked as if he hadn't slept all night. To everyone else, he looked like just another customer grabbing coffee before work, but inside, he was breaking. He was a CEO on the edge of losing everything, his company, his employees, his life's work, and he had less than 1 hour to solve a financial disaster that seemed impossible to fix. He stared down at a spreadsheet printed on cheap paper, numbers swimming in front of his eyes. No matter how many times he checked, the math didn't make sense. Millions were missing, and he couldn't figure out why. He kept whispering to himself, "It can't end like this, not today." But with every minute that passed, the situation felt more hopeless. Before we dive into this emotional story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to support our channel. Kindness Lights. Your support helps us keep sharing real, uplifting stories that remind the world that kindness still matters. Now let's begin. The man's name was Daniel. He had launched his tech company in a tiny garage 8 years earlier. Through long nights, small victories, and a belief that his idea could help people, he had slowly grown the business into something real, something worth fighting for. But the previous evening, while reviewing financial reports before a big investor meeting, he found a mistake that changed everything. A simple error in the company's internal reporting had made it look like they had overspent by a huge amount. If he couldn't correct it before his 9 a.m. meeting, the investors would walk away. And if they walked away, the company would collapse. He tried calling his accountant, his CFO, any employee who might still answer this early, but no one picked up. He felt utterly alone. Across the counter, a young cashier named Abby noticed the distressed man sitting at the table. She was only 19 and had worked the early morning shift for the past year. Abby was shy, so shy that most customers barely heard her whisper when she greeted them. She usually kept her head down, stocking shelves and scanning snacks, avoiding conversations that made her nervous. Still, something about this man made her pause. She saw the fear in his eyes, the way he gripped the papers as if they were the last thread holding his life together. She watched for a minute, hesitating. Should she check on him? Or just mind her own business? She took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Sir, are you okay?" she asked softly. Daniel didn't even look up at first. He just shook his head. "No. Not really. I'm about to lose everything." Abby's eyes widened. I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do?" He gave a tired half-laugh. "Unless you can magically fix financial statements." "Not really." Abby didn't walk away. Instead, she gently asked, "Can I look? I'm not an expert or anything, but sometimes a second pair of eyes helps." Daniel hesitated, but something in her sincerity made him slide the papers over. "Sure, but it's complicated. And it's a disaster." Abby pulled the paper closer. Her brow furrowed. She traced the columns with her finger. Daniel watched her, confused. Why did she seem familiar with numbers? As it turned out, Abby wasn't just a cashier. She was a community college student studying accounting. She had taken the overnight job to help pay rent after her mother fell sick. She didn't brag about her skills. She didn't talk much at all. People rarely saw more than the shy girl behind the counter, but she understood spreadsheets very well. After a minute of scanning, Abby's finger stopped on a line labeled Operating Expenses, Q3. She lifted her head. Sir, is this supposed to be totaled like this? Because, maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like someone added these monthly totals twice." Daniel blinked. "What?" Abby shifted the paper toward him and pointed again. "See here? These numbers, they're already included in the annual total. But then there's another line adding them again. It makes it look like you spent a lot more than you actually did." Daniel grabbed a pen, started re-adding the numbers, and his eyes suddenly widened. Abby was right. She had spotted the exact mistake he had been missing for hours, the mistake that had thrown off the entire report. A wave of relief so strong it almost knocked him back hit Daniel. His shoulders relaxed, and for the first time that morning, he breathed deeply. "You just saved my company," he whispered. Abby's face turned red. "Oh, I just noticed something. That's all." Daniel stood up, grateful beyond words. "No. You don't understand. This mistake, it would have bankrupted us. I needed this corrected before my meeting. You saved the jobs of dozens of people." Abby looked stunned, almost embarrassed. "I'm glad I could help." Daniel quickly corrected the numbers, took photos of the updated sheet, and emailed everything to his team with a renewed sense of hope. Then he turned back to Abby. "What's your name?" he asked Abby. She replied shyly. "Abby," he said, smiling for the first time that day, "you're remarkable. And if you ever want an internship in accounting, or a full scholarship to finish your degree, call this number." He slid his business card across the counter. Her eyes filled with tears. No one had ever offered her something like that. Growing up, people overlooked her, underestimated her, and rarely took the time to see what she was capable of. Yet today, one act of kindness, her simply caring enough to ask if a stranger was okay, had changed both their lives. Daniel hurried out to his car, confidence renewed. He made it to his meeting with 5 minutes to spare. That morning, his company secured the investment it needed to survive and grow. Meanwhile, Abby held the business card in her trembling hands, feeling something she hadn't felt in years: belief in herself. Kindness doesn't always come from grand gestures. Sometimes it comes from a quiet voice, a gentle question, or a simple willingness to help someone who looks like they're hurting. Abby didn't know she was about to change a man's life. But she acted anyway, and in doing so, she changed her own future too. And the truth